What up, everybody? You know it's Monday. You know what time it is on Mondays. We have our little chit chat about World of Warcraft
and a lot of cool things. And last week, what was the question that we asked last week?
Best expansion, man. Best expansion out of the whole wide world.
And what do we have for this week?
This week we have the best class people would want in the next expansion.
Oh yeah. You guys went a little bit all out in the comments, so that's actually pretty interesting. We have a couple of cool selections this week.
I love it. So you know what this episode is all about. I mean, this series is all about. So essentially, we talk about a subject that you guys basically commented on the previous video, and at the end of this video, we're gonna launch off the new topic, and you guys can comment on that one, and we'll discuss it in the next video. Does that make sense? I hope it does make sense.
I think it's pretty clear. And just another piece of advice, we usually gather all the comments around Thursday to Fridays at the very latest. So if you want to be featured in the video, make sure you comment before then, because we want to start working on these beforehand, so you don't, So
you have 4 days to get your comments in, okay?
Yeah.
And then without further ado, just grab your snack or, on your way to your job or school. This is a podcasty type stuff. Enjoy as we get into the classes, future classes for World of Warcraft. What do you want? What do you need? And why? So let's start with Mr. Dr. Bliss. Tinker would be the best, as set out by Island Expeditions, having a mech suit to be the tank spec, a gun and turret DPS, along with a healing spec exclusive for gnomes and goblins, only also third spec for DH, mage spec using fell magic. Interesting points. I mean, the thing with the Tinker class, I know Taliesin developed a lot on this on a previous video of his, and he was like the one, I think he was the one who noticed in the Alex Expeditions these goblins with
turrets,
healing bots and turrets for DPS. That's a thing in Island Expeditions.
I never actually thought about it, but the mech suit being a tank spec, that sounds super
That's
awesome.
how it is in the Island Expeditions, if you look.
And to be fair, I really want it to be exclusive to gnomes and goblins, man. I want to see more gnomes and goblins in the game, man.
Yeah, it would make sense. There's a lot of arguments for that, but I think an interesting thing here, Dr. Bliss said here, a mage spec using fell magic. Isn't that Warlock?
That is kind of Warlock. I mean, people have been asking for a lot of range spec for Demon Hunters. I have a hard time seeing how that can be made, except if they make them like a bow spec. But I
don't know. Maybe let's be fair. Demon Hunters are the ones who use Fel more than any other class. I think Warlocks, you see a lot of shadow stuff, right? Chaos Bolt, I mean, isn't that Fel magic, Chaos Bolt?
Well, the thing is, initially Warlocks had Fel magic, but they kind of strayed a little bit with each expansion away from that concept so that I can give Demon Hunters more identity, but I mean...
It could happen definitely, but out of everything Dr. Bliss said, I think the Tinker spec has...
I mean, we have Tauren Paladins, anything is possible.
Anything is possible at this point, man, forget. Okay,
moving forwards, we have Matthias Wagner. That sounds like a German name. I would love to Spellbreaker. Imagine killing those damn mages. Man, Spellbreakers, yes. We had them in Warcraft 3.
And we have them weren't there Spellbreakers in BC? Like the Blood Elves in
I mean, they're still in the game probably as NPCs.
The Blood Elf Zone, the Blood Elf Starting Zone, there's a lot of them there. What's it called? The Blood Elf Zone.
Eversong Woods?
Silver Moon.
Eversong Woods.
No, the Blood Elf, where you start leveling as a Blood Elf.
Eversong Woods, man.
It's not Silver Moon?
The Silver Moon is the capital.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You start off there. You go there, right? In Silver Moon, they have Spellbreakers. Am I not right?
Yeah, as guards. I mean, those are like the quintessential warriors that Blood Elves had before they actually got warriors. Because if you remember in TBC, the Blood Elves were introduced being able to do warrior.
Right.
They couldn't be warriors.
But okay, but what would a Spellbreaker be? Because it wouldn't be a warrior that...
it could be a tank, but it would be... So the iconic thing of Spellbreakers is that they can be immune to magic. We don't have that in the game. They counter mages. They had the silence mechanic first in Warcraft 3.
Yeah, I remember that.
A lot of counter magic. You could steal magic summoned pets, stuff like that. That would be really cool. I mean, it's definitely a concept that we don't really have. It's kind of spread a little bit to all classes. Everybody has an interrupt. Everybody has a dispel mostly.
Yeah.
But putting that into like a tank, like a mage tank, that would probably be the mage tank.
But only a tank.
Well, I suppose you could be a melee DPS or a range. I mean, they usually threw the glaive thingy, so they were kind of ranged.
It would be like, this could actually lead to some interesting ideas. Like as a DPS, him being a Spellbreaker, maybe it can have some mechanics where it will like mimic spells, like block other enemy spells and mimic them somehow.
The world's our oyster, man. We can do a lot of things.
Oh,
that's an
I think that would be cool, man. I think that would
there's
be cool.
a lot of potential there. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's keep it moving because there's a lot of stuff to cover. Chris Sands, this is our newest Patreon, I believe.
Oh,
if I'm not mistaken.
Thank you, Chris. Welcome to the team.
Welcome, welcome. Let's see what he has to say. Hey guys, greeting from Mexico. Hola. Well, shadow hunters, they are masters of voodoo and the magic of shadows. There are even humans who are considered shadow hunters, and the speculated Shadowlands expansion for next year is the perfect time to introduce this class with the help of Vulcan. I strongly believe that the shadow hunters will be announced that playable unit in Warcraft 3, and this is essential. Mark my words, print screen and remember this post. Shadow hunters. Bonus cookie. I would love to see an Elementalist class, a mix between Druid and Shaman, using the power of elements and nature combined, summoning elemental beasts to tank, heal DPS, and range DPS. 4 specs. Okay. I have a ton of ideas for this class. Anyway, I love your videos and I wish you the best. Keep it up. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Alright.
Man, he has the passion. You can definitely tell that.
I mean, the Elementalist is kind of interesting, but I think we should focus more on the Shadow Hunters because I always thought Shadow Hunters would be a 4th Hunter spec because it is range. You kind of track stuff.
I get it, but it has to be something magical. It has to be something with spells, more spells.
I'm thinking of the Shadow Hunter in Warcraft 3. You had the AoE voodoo immunity for everybody.
Yeah.
That could also be a support spec. You could summon like stuff. You had the chain heal. Shadow Hunters had the chain heal.
I would think. I don't know. When I'm thinking Shadow Hunters in World of Warcraft, I'm thinking a lot of the Demon Hunter from Diablo. There's a lot of like cool stuff there. I know there's a lot of physical stuff, but also magic arrows and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess they had the trappy things.
Yeah, more traps that can do damage like
actual voodoo. We don't really have voodoo. We have shamans, which are the closest things we had to voodoo. But I guess because they couldn't implement Shadow Hunters into WoW initially, they kind of took aspects from Shadow Hunters and blended into shamans, right?
And I think bits and parts here and there.
They might have to take away. We don't know, but it is an interesting concept.
At the base of it, if it would be a hunter with spells, it would be awesome.
It's still range glaive attacks, but you could summon like totems, like the serpent thing that spits fire.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
They used to have that.
Yeah.
The voodoo stuff, hex. You Shadow Hunters had hex, so it is probably more of a shaman-y class than a hunter. But I mean,
that also pours into the Elementalist. I think an Elementalist right now is basically a divided situation between shamans and druids. But Shadow Hunters, definitely can work, Chrissy boy. All right, let's move on.
We have Benesh Ash. Is it Ben Ash? I'm not sure. But
I'll say Ben.
All right, Ben. I would like a Sylvanas-like Banshee Dark Ranger class. Ooh,
Shadow Hunter?
I know you're... No, this is different. Wielding dagger and bows and whatever dark magic Sylvanas is using, and give them the Shadow Flight form as a class mount.
Oh, that would be so cool, man. Wow, Ranger, that would be awesome.
I think that this could be more of a rogue spec. Dark Rangers are like stealth trackers.
But they also have some range modifiers.
Yeah. But I mean, they would be closer to rogues than anything
hunters.
Else.
Well, hunters can stealth too, though.
Camouflage, I suppose, but Banshee's like basically going into shadow form, right? So I guess that would probably be something subtlety related, but probably something different.
I'm just saying, I am sold on the shadow flight form thing, like the Sylvanas. Banshee's.
Yeah, see you in the next cinematic.
That would be so cool, man. I would love that. That can actually happen. And if they do center a lot of on Sylvanas with patch 8.3, maybe in the next expansion, this could be a potential, man.
So we talked about the Tinker being a possible thing, but thinking about the way the game is going, the story is going, we're probably going to get something alongside of the Shadow Hunter or Dark Ranger.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to keep in mind that they always had a new class being directly linked to that expansion.
And theme,
And theme and whatever, then yeah, it would be possible, although the Necromancer can also be a great possibility, as we talked in the previous video. But it's definitely a great idea, man. I think I think a lot of people
they can make one Dark Shadow class being a Necromancer Ranger something. Maybe they can make something.
Yeah, they can make. Yeah, the specs could be like that shit.
Each spec can be one of these. That would be really cool. I'm gonna
definitely
say.
All right. Oh, look who it is, man! Mr. Area Killer. As I watch this video, I have an interesting question for you guys. Though story and lore is a huge aspect of WoW, what are you guys' take on classes? To me, new classes are an important combination with story and lore. Fair enough. And to my comment before, yes, you are 100% right. It is Chinese art style, not Japanese. Lol, in my defense.
Oh, we talked about that.
Yeah. It was like 4 or 5 a.m. when I watched it. Don't even worry about it, man. And comment, great videos, guys. Y'all slaying it. And Timekeeper's class. Timekeeper. This has been a favorite class for as long as I can remember. I like to see a cloth tank uses magic to tank. Jeez, I like this idea a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it would be viable with Time Walkers.
It
Man,
is
this is fucked up. This just got my mind blown.
I know that's why I picked him, because I saw it was like big ass comment. But Timekeeper, if you think about it, the boss from Nighthold, the second to last boss, the leader of the Nightborn.
Oh yeah, what was the bitch name? No. It wasn't. Yeah, the Arcanist. Yeah, what
I don't remember. It's on the tip of my tongue. But so she used time magic. That was really cool.
When doesn't Chromie use time magic also? Isn't this like
permanent? Yeah, I suppose like maybe they learned the time magic from the Bronze Dragonflight. But the way where you fight the boss, like she takes back time again and again. When you kill, you have to kill her like 3 times, right?
I think a great idea that he has, like having a tank in cloth, but you use magic for that shit.
Wouldn't that be more akin to the battle mage that you talked about?
Well, the battle mage segment got cut off in the edit, so nobody knows about that shit.
Oh shit! Oh, oops. Yeah.
It would be awesome.
It would be interesting. I mean, we don't have a male tank either, but a cloth tank that could be very interesting. I mean, you would use magic to form shields, I suppose, or time magic to reverse damage. So that could
so cool.
Yeah,
Jesus.
It is in the lore, but we didn't.
Can we link this to this expansion? I know we said we don't have to like think about the expansion and stuff like that, but can we link this to what the current leaks are and the speculations are? Time magic.
I mean, if you could make an argument to link time magic with anything, I suppose, but no time travel, no time travel.
No.
But I'm not sure. I mean, if it's a Dragon Isles related, maybe something happens with the bronze Dragonflight, and we're getting the Timekeeper.
It can be possible, definitely.
And speaking of that, let's check our next comment from Javier Portanda.
Hola.
This was a rumor back in TBC, Emerald Dream Speculation expansion days. Dragonsworn.
Dragonsworn.
We're literally surrounded by them. Imagine becoming a freaking dragon with all the spec, tank, DPS, and healer based on your Dragonflight. It would be awesome. Also, Dragon Isles. Much love, guys. Keep it up. Man, this actually was a really nice segue.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
This also
blows my mind. What the fuck is wrong?
We have Alex Straza, man, in Heroes of the Storm. Like, that kind of concept put into WoW a little bit more developed, like a Dragon Knight. It's kind of like a reverse aspect of the dragon. They teach us how to become dragons.
Yeah.
Maybe we can be a dragon tank. We can have the life binders, the aspect of the life binder to heal. That would be really cool.
That would be super. And this would be a on its own built-in class, Dragonsworn class. And based on that would be, man, you guys should Blizzard hire these people. Ian, you're watching this, hire all of them.
If you really think about it, it could have 5 specs. It could have like a spec for each dragon aspect. Like red could be the healer.
Yeah, and also
black can
really tie in with the Timekeeper thing. You can have a Timekeeper spec.
And that's what I'm saying. The bronze one could be the Timekeeper mage, right?
Man, this is amazing. They could do some good shit with this.
Man, Blizzard, Ian, hey, what's up? Free ideas
look
here,
at this. Yeah, it's for free. It's all YouTube.
No endorsement necessary.
Yeah, it's awesome. And these are great ideas, I gotta say, man. And I'll be hyped to play any of these so far. I'll be fucking hyped. Goddamn. Javier, man, you really nailed it with this one, boy. Okay, let's see what Ilmaza has to say. Next class, Necro, Diablo 2 Necro, Poison, Spirit, Bone. And there are a lot of hints in Scholomance, not only to make it work, you simply remove the ability of DK to summon. Easy peasy. We talked a lot about the Necro, right? Last episode. I mean, he has a point.
If it's more bony, poisony, I can see it happen.
It can definitely happen like that, but I'm curious on what he has to say with Scholomance. Do you think in the edit we can look a little bit into that?
I'm not very familiar with the Scholomance lore, but there are necromancers there. As far as I know, they're summoning a lot of ghouls and skeletons. And I mean, I don't think you have to take something from the DK. And I think with just comment, a lot of DKs are gonna hate you, man. But DKs summon ghoul, like more fleshy dead stuff, but necros can just summon bony stuff. We don't have just bone.
That's true.
More bone spirit, like you said, bone spirit and bony things with
that would be a hard thing to differentiate in the current World of Warcraft universe.
I suppose.
Because people will be like, oh, he raises dead, he raises dead.
I mean, what class has been asked for more than Necromancer?
I don't know, man. Until I never asked for that.
I've been hearing it for like ever since I started playing WoW, man. Yeah. Like, where's the Necromancer? Why Warlock? Okay, Warlock, but where's? I think they've been asking for Necro before DK.
All right. See, Edward Burke, the plus guy. Hey, man, we love the engagement.
Yeah. I'm with Marcelian 100% in my wish for a Bard class. It's relatively lore agnostic, so it can slide into any expansion. And it won't step on the toes of any other class, I suppose, and it's the only class fantasy archetype as defined by the progenitor RPG Dungeons
That's
and
true.
Dragons.
That's true.
That WoW currently lacks. Beyond that, the Tinkerer would be interesting, especially considering that WoW was added with Mechagon, though all of that leads to the question of how they fit new classes into leveling structure when it comes to Legion. I mean, they could just do a Legion Order Halls, yeah.
I don't know if they're relevant anymore, man.
With that argument, they're never gonna add a new class,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I guess they'll all have to be a hero classes from now on to skip past the bracket, I suppose. I mean, that would make sense. That's kind of like their take with most of the new classes, excepting Monk, I suppose. Yes, I do have the plus thing, and I have nothing to say, but I want to feed the great algorithm because I like your content, but YouTube only cares about engagement. Yeah, man, fair enough.
Hey, man, we respect about that shit, and much love for it. We always found it funny. Like we never wanted to like take you down with the shit. It was always funny. Hey man, it's Ed again with the plus. And now, like you saying that it helps the algorithm and shit is like it's a whole nother level. Yeah. So thank you so much, Ed. Now,
right,
I never wanted to go in through the Dungeons and Dragons bit because that's a whole different can of worms. But it is true, the Bard class is really prominent over there.
I don't mind the Bard class, but we don't have it in lore that much or at all.
We don't have what a fucking good time it is to bring it.
I mean, bring music in. I mean, we're all for music.
It's, man, just think about it. It would be a mechanic, and it's not only that. I mean, it's definitely evolved about singing the mandolin or the flute and stuff like that.
Could it be a class that only has support specs?
But just think. Okay, let's take it a little bit further here. Did you ever play Zelda?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, do you know how many items are musical instruments over there?
Actually, I don't know.
Like Ocarina of Time. Ocarina is an instrument.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the magical flute. There's a lot of stuff that is a lot of musical stuff that's imbued with magic and has a lot of purpose. That is basically Link is basically a bard, more or less. And he also has a sword and shield and has magic and shit. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of potential over there, and I'm glad Ed is with me on this one.
Tank?
It could be the old, like now we can like mix them all up and make a whole pile of shit over here.
Timekeeper one spec, Bard the other spec.
Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking? A Bard, I would really love another support spec that's not just pure healing, like Discipline, right? Discipline is a lot of bubbly stuff, and I want something that's just like, oh, that's damage, let's heal it. I want something else. I think a Bard would be really interesting.
That could work. That's what I'm saying. It cannot be linked to the thesis and the theme for the next expansion. I don't see it happening, but it's a big opportunity for Blizzard, I would say, and a lot of people will.
Sure,
yeah. Okay, let's move on. Who's next? The legend.
I'm Legendary Mike. Damn you, Flame! I am Flame. Necro could be fun. I would say Engineer Tinker, a range gun, range DPS that supports buffs and debuffs targets using mechanical gadgets, or a Dragon Knight, kind of like the one from ESO, but WoW style. Possibly a play on the dragon aspects could be kind of dope. Legendary Mike kind of touched on all of the cool specs that we talked about right now, but I really like his take on the Tinkerer again. A range gun, DPS that supports buffs, debuffs with mechanical gadgets. Would you make mechanical gadgets for your group?
Like Thorbjorn in Overwatch?
Yeah, you could make
like throwing pieces and stuff, and people would pick it up from the ground and get buffs.
Oh, that the party has to interact with them. That would be interesting.
That would be cool as fuck. But that would lean more into the engineering side of things. Like the initial idea was the DPS would launch off turrets, similar to Gaslow in Heroes of the Storm and in the Island Expeditions.
Yeah.
But the thing about the Tinker is, if you pay attention in the Island Expeditions, you have the tank who is in the mech suit, you have the DPS who's basically Gaslow, I think, I hope I'm not mistaken, who does summon turrets and stuns, basically like Heroes of the Storm Gaslow.
Yeah.
And then you have the healer who just spawns healing bots all over the place.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I forgot
or whatever.
Yeah, and he also has a beam that heals and stuff. Yeah. So that would be cool. This is a different thing for sure, and it would be definitely interesting. As I said, if you would be like an engineer type Tinker, that would work really.
I was never as excited, to be honest. I was never as excited for Tinkers as I am today, man. I always thought it's a ridiculous class for a fantasy medieval type of game, but I mean, goblins and gnomes kind of make tinkering and engineering really interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move on. It's Stefan Kozmin. A new class should be Chemist. Ooh, using acids, gases, corrosive, potent substances, all that kind of stuff to do damage would be so something. He could be a support, buffing, protecting allies with potions, resistances, healing, recovering, hell, even tank, where you consume a substance and go into a chemical rage, like the Hulk. Jesus, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Becoming a melee beast where you have increased HP, absorbing more damage, resisting, etc. Imagine an undead chemist. Man, I'm getting like Putricide vibes and all the whole.
Keep reading.
An undead chemist, cloth armor, and will be the first Clother to tank would be cool, and it would quite fit with the lore too. Remember when Putris with Ratgate, you could make this class derived from Putris, and I think it would be quite good. Okay, this is my favorite so far.
I know, I love the one I saw.
This is the shit. This is the shit, and this would be unique.
Oh man,
this
would like so much unique. Things you can go into this class, man.
He explained it so beautifully. I mean, man, come on, man, hire these
guys, we had the Alchemist in Warcraft 3, so I think a lot of that is based on that. I'm not sure if you've based it on that, but if you haven't, then you have some really cool imagination, man, because this is really dope. Like, we don't, it's kind of in the game. We've seen people, you know, use chemicals to enhance themselves.
Yeah.
Why not have it as a class, man? I mean, alchemy kind of gives you just buffs, right? But this is like the next thing.
Can you imagine Blizzard, you know, in their meeting, like, okay, guys, the new expansion and stuff, what new class are we going? And people start brainstorming. I don't think there's anybody saying, hey, man, let's look a little bit in our game and see what class we can come up with already existing stuff in the game. Can you imagine it? They don't do that. I don't believe they do that. It's like the brainstorming thing. That's the thing, man. There's a lot of stuff that can be like sucked out of the game and made into a class. And this is amazing.
Yeah,
like playing with potions and poisons and all kind of
altering your stuff, becoming buff or
man,
it's pretty sweet, man. I'm not gonna lie.
So fucking cool, man. Again, it would be interesting to see how it will link with the next expansion. But hey, man, props to you, Stefan.
I don't know what's going on, but I want to play this game, man.
Yeah, I want to play it too. All right, let's move to this is Kelsey, I believe.
Kelson, yeah, Rob Oliphant. Hey, a Master of Undeath could easily be a tank, drawing on vampire type abilities, encroaching upon decay.
Okay.
Or it could go down more of a meat shield approach in that it summons a tank, and the players use spells to maintain the tank. Trickly potentially, but an interesting change. Or tricky? Alright. DPS would be a more demonology type approach, but actually engaging. Finally, you could have a heal spec where the hero has degen heal auras. Degenerate auras, I think that's what you want to say. And cast heal spells that are enabled or powered up by the damage of his undead army. This is, I really thought a lot about it. This could be the Necromancer tank spec.
Yeah, it's basically,
It could be that, so that's, if you make a Necromancer, again, the cloth tank, you could just summon like a big abomination and that can tank for you, right? And that's an interesting concept.
And you can control it with that? You have abilities for that?
I suppose you can give her commands like a hunter.
Yeah, it would be boring if it would be passive. You have to...
No, it cannot be passive. You have to actively tank it, but from range. We don't have that yet. And you can give it commands, buff it or heal it from range. That could be an interesting concept as
definitely. But would it fit with their like tradition of making classes a bit more streamlined? This sounds a bit more, you know.
All of the, like, if you really think about it, all of the cool suggestions that we had are not very streamlined. Like the Alchemist,
what a shot!
Tinkerer.
That's how you make a great game, right? Don't make it that goddamn streamlined. Awesome idea, Kels, an awesome idea. I mean, it's definitely around a tank spec, but I can definitely see it working. And it can really link to the Shadowlands. Again, it's necro type stuff. So now let's move to Vincent. Young Vincent. To be honest, I don't think another hero class is really needed, as in we already have two classes that are heroes. Kind of, rather than having like a noble sort of class, I really prefer some class like a good old support class Bard. Hell yeah! Yes, you heard me right, Bard. What kind of RPG fantasy group does not have someone who can sing or dance? Hey man, we sing and dance all the time. You know what I'm saying?
In the bathroom.
Imagine when fighting a group of enemy from another faction and suddenly someone sings the song of the Alliance and you'll be like, fuck, that's energizing. Well, it can be something like that, you know, just having like a really good tune, but it's more complex. Dwarf Bards, definitely, like, yeah. And you continue on beat on their ass. So Bard, Blizzard, get on it. Like, again, we covered this, and this is another great argument for the Bard class, having them sing anthems. Like you would have like an empowering speech, but actually a song. Like you remember in all of the fantasy movies and war movies, when they start up the speeches in the background, slowly there is like rising a tune or something, sometimes with choirs, sometimes with drums. And when the actual fighting starts, you can hear a lot of the stuff, like or words or chants and stuff. That could work with a Bard too, but not, you know, this segment with the Bard actually singing with his voice. That is a really tricky field because it must not be corny. If it's corny,
I can see a lot of people being put off. But whenever I think about that, I always think about the BFA cinematic where Anduin resurrects everybody. Like, take the resurrection away and make it like a bar thing. It's like everybody, like, oh, we can do this.
Yeah, and then they start dancing during the light of it.
This is so stupid.
Yeah, man. But man, respect Vincent. You know, I'm all for the bar also.
Moving on,
Kevin
we have
Plus?
it's Plus, yes.
Plus, yeah, I remember he corrected us. So
Yeah.
sorry about that, man. We didn't know.
Kevin, you left a bigger comment, but I took out the non-class related bits. Hey, me again. I love your videos. I would love to play a dragon aspect powered class. The lore could be awesome around to grow up and under the power of a leader of the dragon aspects, and you could be all a healer, a tank, a DPS. Just like the aspects by itself are, and they give you the power. And after BFA and the quest with Furion, could maybe be start of the NIST class? Man, a black dragon tank. Oh,
I already like that mount that we're getting like in a couple of weeks. Goddamn.
Not gonna lie. It sounds awesome.
It's again among the most ideal or the most close to being linked with the current situation of WoW and probably moving forward because of the Rathian questline, because of what he will be probably doing in 8.3 and moving forward. And we, like, honestly, you said it on Cooldown, man, a lot of people were waiting for the Dragon Isles. Maybe that's where they're gonna like have it in some way. Maybe it's in a patch, maybe it's in a whole expansion, we don't know. But I think Dragon Isles is gonna happen in some way, shape or form, and it could lead to a great argument of having a dragon class. And a dragon class, let's think about it, just call it a dragon class. Like, just
Dragon
let that
Knight.
sink in. Let's dragon, like, people will lose their shit. Everybody's gonna want to play a dragon, man.
I know, and then it's been some time since Cataclysm where we know the dragon aspects lost the majority of their powers. So now
They're mortal now. That's a fucking good argument.
Yeah,
that's a fucking good argument. That's like
we
solid.
We need to teach, you know, spread our power to new people, right? The classes.
They're-
I feel like that could be a really
They're
big
mortal now. Let's move it on to Mr. Yosif Razvan. I will always want Necromancer. I know that Demo Lock is supposed to be the Necromancer class, but it's not the same thing. I want Plague, Death, Skeleton, Curses, Rot. I don't know if Demo Lock is necessarily the Necro. I would say Affliction would be more, and DK, like Unholy DKs, have a lot of that shit into them. Well, that aside, we have touched about on this on the previous episode. I mean, a Necro class, it's sufficient to just look at Diablo, and you already have a lot of stuff that you can make it. I know Bone Shield is on Blood Decay. Okay, no problem. There's a lot of other stuff. There's actually, there was a point earlier, and you made it as well. DKs do not raise skeletons. They raise ghouls, zombies, whatever, right? Abominations, shit like that. If they would be able to implement this graphically, even sonically, in
like
the game,
bone clackings.
and really visually make the difference. That's a fucking skeleton, and you can, you know. But you know, being not being too weak, it is really powerful. That would work. Maybe not just a skeleton, maybe 4 or 5. It would work, and a lot of abilities that are similar to the Necro in D2, but obviously make it more unique. That could happen, and again, this thing with the Necromancer, this can really happen with the how the story of BFA is moving forward, and if Shadowlands will be a thing. There's a lot of death in BFA all around, the death magic thing. It can only work. A Necromancer could use the powers of death, right?
And I'm thinking, I kept thinking, I'm putting all this into perspective with the issue that we have concerning alts, and adding more classes might make that more the bigger of a problem.
I don't care
What if
anymore.
they make most of this a 4th spec for a lot of classes? What if they just had a 4th
I had,
spec?
I had that
I
idea.
was just thinking about that. Each classes gets a 4th spec, like mages can get Timekeeper, warlocks can get Necromancer.
What do paladins get, man? Ward?
Bard.
It would be the perfect fit for paladins.
I would imagine so, yeah. I mean,
well, then now
unless they're making a
wearers-
separate class. I think there's too much into Bard to be fit into one spec.
Yeah,
there's a lot of potential.
That's true. I'm stopping it right there. But the thing is, at this point, I don't really care about balance anymore. I just want cool stuff in the game.
I know what you mean, man.
Yeah, so they need to go cool gear, cool zones, cool quests, cool classes, balance. Traditionally, World of Warcraft was never a thing. They tried so hard in many expansions to
got so far, so.
Yeah, the Linkin Park is strong in this one. Okay, let's move on to the last one.
It's Tack Blades.
Tack Blades.
Love the format of these chats. Why? Thank you very much, Tack Blades.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Awesome. New class has to be a heroic healer class. I agree with healer and hero class. I would go for Valkyrie. Oh, right!
Ooh.
I would go for Valkyrie, Norse mythology, afterlife, abilities, Hall of the Slain, under the god Odin, Raven healing pet, runic inscriptions, melee healing spec, range healing spec, and an afterlife range and melee hybrid DPS runic
this
spec.
is so good.
I know.
This is so good.
Would tie in great to Shadowlands. It would be like...
Wow.
like all of the lore with Helia and Ayer, and the fact that most of Sylvanas' Valkyrie died, they can put that into a story and kind of explain how we could, you know, learn the magics of the Valkyrie. Or they could even be the Vrykul class. I don't know, but they could be something that the Vrykul would teach us, or like, you know, the.
They could even introduce the Vrykul race.
Yeah, that would be interesting. An Ogres for Horde.
Yeah, but
That
this.
This
dude,
really cool.
I mean, there's a couple of folks over here that actually have amazing ideas, and they went so far in like mechanics like runic inscriptions.
Yeah,
that's so fucking cool.
It's very interesting.
And
We
think
have
about,
runes.
Think about this shit. He mentioned melee healing spec. Now they tried this with the monk,
Yeah,
right?
for sweeping.
It's they tried it with the paladin, right? With the Avenging Crusader. How about just have a fucking healing spec that's always melee? That all it has to do is like.
I'm thinking the Vikings show type melee where you just go in with a staff or a shield and a staff and just go there and, you know, like.
That's what I'm saying.
And describe everything.
Awesome
That
shit.
could be
This
really interesting.
this is unbelievable. And again, this I never thought it can work. It can work with BFA and Shadowlands if Shadowlands is a thing. Amazing idea, Tag Blaze. I really do hope somebody from Blizzard watches this. Well, they sent us an email a couple of days ago, so maybe somebody from the community.
Maybe somebody
man,
knows.
Just forward this to somebody, man. Look at the amazing community your game has and the amazing ideas they have.
All of this is amazing, guys,
Hell
and
yeah.
this has been more than interesting. So let's actually get into the next week, man. What are we talking about next week?
Man, I would say BlizzCon. I think
yeah,
the hype is
pretty
getting
close.
really pumped up. And on that topic, let's talk BlizzCon, guys. Let's on the next video. What do you want from BlizzCon this year? It can be games, it can be expansions, it can be whatever. What are you expecting and what do you want for BlizzCon 2019? Now, Flame?
Yeah. Well, I know we're getting the next expansion pack in 8.3, so what I would really want, and I know it's a little bit off topic, but I want a Dark Diablo 4. I want to see them return to like the Dark God stuff.
Well, it can definitely happen, and I think it will happen, judging by the popularity Diablo 2 still has, and judging by the popularity of Path of Exile. There's a lot of stuff these are markets and that they could tap in with their own product, and their own product being Diablo.
They used to dominate these markets.
Yeah, so it's definitely a potential there. I don't see them necessarily doing again the more cartoony, vibrant type. Although I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
They can keep that for their mobile version.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to see. I'm definitely hoping for that too. Me, on the other hand, I am thinking about either a brand new IP, a brand new PC IP. Because they did say last year, at least that's what they said. We have a lot of projects in the works, guys. There's a lot of projects, more projects than ever, guys. I'm really hoping for a brand new IP. I think the initial Overwatch thing was beautiful. Either that or something really bombastic. I don't know, something that was super secret up until this point. I don't know, World of Warcraft 2, Warcraft 4, things that we do not really expect. Let's just put it like that.
That would be interesting.
That would be my.
They do have a lot of projects, more than they ever had.
Do they? I thought, man. I don't know, man. I thought they were like lazy and shit. But did they say that though? Okay, well, this is it, man. So, thank you very much for watching. But before we go, huge shout out to our Patreons once again and all of our Twitch subs. There's quite a lot of you right now. It's pretty hard to count you all, but we should make something with the Twitch subs as well. Like in the videos, we can make something there. So that is gonna happen at some point. Thank you so much for the support,
really
guys. It means the world to us. And also, if you want to get into the details of the Patreons, just look in the description. You'll also find there links to our Teespring with a lot of Marcelian&Online merchandise and WoW merchandise. It's all good. Wish you have a great week ahead and see ya!
Next one.